just done my first ever 10k. I was supposed to record some of this morning, pre-run. However, me being me, totally forgot. So here we are right now, where I can barely breathe. But I am so proud of myself. That is my first ever 10k in, I'm gonna say like 10 years, genuinely. I don't think I've run 10k since I was training for the marathon, for London Marathon. If you had have told me that I would be running a 10k, I genuinely wouldn't have believed you. And you know, as a coach, as a PT, I'm sure lots of people think that, oh well, surely you should be good at running because you're a PT, but we all have our individual like things that we're good at. But what that just shows you is that, like, if I can be absolutely shit at something and push myself, so can you. You know, like, yours might be the opposite way around. You might find cardio a lot easier and you might be terrified of weightlifting. We all have things we're good at. We all have things we're beginners at, that we're learning. It's okay to be a beginner. Everybody has to start somewhere.
Hello guys, happy Monday. So today's Monday. I have now been on my 8-week cut for 1 week. I last filmed, when did I last post? Like middle of the week last week. So that was a bit of an update, bit of an explanation on what the next series of videos is going to be about. So if you haven't watched that one, go back and watch that one because it'll give a bit of context. But going forward, I thought for this week I'll give you a bit of a weekly vlog, a bit of an update on what I've been doing. I am going to be doing my progress pictures, updating all of my stats for my own progress, doing a bit of meal prep today. Today's very much like a laptop admin type of day, planning content and stuff. So yeah, you can come along with me. What do you do for a living? Take my clothes off and take pictures regularly. So I have now put my scale weight numbers into my app, which all of my clients get access to, have their own account, which is private. You can see that my scale weight has gone from 8th of September, 70.8. Then we've dropped down to 69.8. So that was when I said it was like a full kilo down. And then we've gone up to, just go back off there, 70.1. That's where I was at this morning. So obviously over time, I'm starting to see trends that come through on this. So as we get more data, I'll be able to put it in more. And that's where you can start to rationalise these fluctuations in scale weight. You're not concerning yourself because you're like, oh, well, actually, even though this bit's gone up, I've gone right down here. So I can accept this. It allows you to be a lot more rational with what the scale weight numbers are because you are plotting a much longer graph. I'll grab another client, a long-term clients, to show you. So this particular client has been with me for over a year now. And you can see that every time her scale weight's gone up, it's still continuing to come down. And she's now in a maintenance block, which means we've been aiming to keep her scale weight around the same point since the beginning, essentially since the beginning of this year. And we've been really successful in doing that. A long-term maintenance block, you can see those big spikes, they're leveling out now because her body is getting used to what she is doing. Over here, when she first started this maintenance block, she'd got down to about 1,400 calories a day. Over here, she's now eating nearly 1,800 calories a day, yet her scale weight hasn't changed. And that is the real beauty of working with a coach long term. We're not just focused on this bit, we're focused on making sure that this bit works really well. And this client is now getting to the point where she's less reliant on the scales, she's less reliant on tracking, but we're doing it in a way where it's giving hair confidence that she can manage it without needing those tools anymore. And if we look at my pictures, which I've also just uploaded, this is really interesting. So this row is the start of Project 8. This row was this morning. So if we have a look, this is what I look like this morning, but you can tap it and then what happens is you can see your pictures side by side. So already, there we go. Already you can see the difference around my core. For me, my core is one area where I will see the changes first. You know, I recognise that I am very lucky in that way. Whereas if we look at my back pictures, you can see it doesn't really look like there's any change there, because that's where I typically hold my weight. That's the bit that is that deep end of the swimming pool that I always talk about. It's where the fat loss is going to be noticed last. And again, looking at side pictures between the 2 weeks. And this is why photos are so valuable, because, you know, it's only been a week, but my body is already starting to respond. And sometimes the scales won't change, but you will see changes like this in your pictures still. And that's why when we work with clients on Project U, we get them to measure their progress in various different ways, because the scales might not change, but their pictures might change. Oh, I feel like I'm doing an interview. So, you may notice I'm not at home, and it has actually been probably nearly 2 weeks since I filmed that first part of the video. So there's been a lot going on. And I thought I'll give you a bit of an update, and then I'll be able to get back into the routine of doing these weekly. So first things first, what the F happened? So in terms of what happened over the last 2 weeks, basically, being totally honest, I haven't really stuck to my cut. And there is a reason for this, which I'm going to explain. And I think it's really valuable to talk about when it's okay to make those kind of decisions and not beating yourself up about it. So for me, something that was not on my bingo card for the end of this year was to be starting dating. However, it appears that I am now kind of consistently dating someone. And obviously, in the first few weeks of that, there is a lot of eating out. There are a lot of meals out, you know, you're spending time together. So that is basically what has stopped me from being able to fully commit to my cut. It's been amazing, it's been really nice, but obviously eating out regularly just means that, like, I have maintained my scale weight. So I haven't lost anything, I haven't gained anything either, which is really good. And that's because the times that we haven't been eating out, I have been sticking to kind of deficit calories. I've not been going any lower because I'm not that desperate for a cut, but equally, I've not been like going excessive. When we have been eating out, we've been obviously enjoying meals, enjoying some drinks, but it's not been crazy. It's still been relatively mindful. I've still maintained my activity levels. I've still been getting to the gym. I've still been doing my runs, but that is where things have obviously not been exactly the same. And do you know, whenever you go into doing a cut, doing something like this where you have like an end goal, it's over a long period of time, there is always that risk that something could happen that means that it's not the right thing anymore. And for me, the cut is definitely still the right thing to be doing. I've just had to take pause for a little bit because I wanted to be eating out. I wanted to be enjoying the company that I was with. And I think it's just a case of recognising if you're in a similar space where you've gone into doing something like a cut and then something crops up that means that you can't commit to it, maybe illness, injury, you know, changes in personal circumstances, maybe you get a different job, maybe your children are poorly. What I see happen a lot is that women beat themselves up because they started out with an initial intention and they've not been able to follow that intention through. But for me, it's actually the reverse. So what we want to be thinking is, right, well, that was my initial intention. Does the situation that I'm in now,
do I want to be in that situation? Is that situation aligned with my overall lifestyle, my overall goals, and the person I want to be, essentially? And for me, I want to be dating. I want to be, you know, kind of like taking that next step for myself as a person. And so the eating out kind of does come with that. Now, one of the really good things is that it's not going to be forever. So I've had a few weeks of doing that, and now I'm going away this weekend, which I'm going to put on the next YouTube. After that, I am going to be back into my cut. So that's the update for you for this video. We're going to be away this weekend in Wales. I will be vlogging some of that, not a lot because it's still very early days, but then what I'm going to do is the next YouTube will have like how I get back into the cut after, you know, things kind of not going to plan in the best way. So I'll leave this one here and catch up with you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks guys.